We planned something big, they said, for my birthday. I flew 11 hours home, found an empty house, cake in the trash, and a sticky note on the fridge. We used your money. $134,000 for the condo. Then my sister texted, "Thanks for the upgrade, bro." I stood there, 7 years of saving gone. Next morning, from my phone, I sold the house. That was just the beginning. Because inside one box in the attic. I hope you're ready, my sister giggled over the phone. We planned something big. 11 hours. I flew 11 hours. The moment I stepped off the plane, I felt something was off. No messages. No pickup. Just silence. I got to the house, our old house, the one I helped renovate, where I paid for the new flooring, the fridge, even the dumb smart doorbell that didn't chime when I pressed it. Just the hollow knock of my own hand. No one answered. The door was unlocked. I stepped inside and immediately knew something was wrong. The lights were off. The living room, empty. Boxes half opened, shoes scattered like someone left in a rush. And then I saw it. On the fridge. A yellow sticky note, crooked, the handwriting unmistakably Olivia's. Used your money. $134,000. Got the condo. Enjoy your visit. The cake was still on the counter. Smashed. Half of it in the trash. Happy birthday, smeared in red icing like a crime scene. Then my phone buzzed. A message from Olivia. Thanks for the upgrade, bro, seriously. It's gorgeous. That was it. That was the party. That was their something big. 7 years of saving. Every raise I didn't celebrate, every vacation I didn't take, every side job, every lonely dinner with spreadsheets and budgeting apps. Gone. They took it. All of it. And they didn't even bother to hide it. I stood there in that silent, cold house, staring at the note, the cake, the empty silence that used to be called home, and I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I opened the real estate app on my phone. And from the middle of that ruined kitchen, I sold the house. Right there. In under 10 minutes. No drama. No warning. That was just the beginning. Because upstairs, in the attic, was a box they should have burned. But they didn't. And now? And that changed everything. For the first 3 years after college, I sent money home every single month. It started with $500. Just until we catch up, Dad said. Olivia had just lost her job, again, and Mom's meds weren't covered, and the plumbing was leaking. And apparently, I was the only one in the entire bloodline who had a working PayPal account. Then it became $1,000. Then $2,000. I moved into a smaller place just so I could keep up. They called it help. I called it obligation. Until it wasn't even a choice. I paid for Olivia's nursing school. She dropped out in semester 2. I bought Dad a new transmission for his truck. He sold it 3 months later to try crypto. Mom said they were saving for retirement. But somehow they ended up in Cabo for Olivia's birthday, not mine. And I didn't say a single word. Because that's what they trained me to do. I was the reliable one. That investment. They never said, thank you. Not once. When I transferred $8,000 for the property tax emergency, all I got was a thumbs up emoji from Dad and a meme from Olivia. Family is when your wallet doesn't need a pin. It was supposed to be a joke. But then, last year, I stopped laughing. They invited me for Christmas. I didn't go. Work was crushing me. I said I'd zoom in, maybe send gifts ahead of time. They never replied. Instead, I logged into Facebook on Christmas morning and saw a photo of them in matching pajamas under a giant tree, opening presents. My presents. Caption. Together with the people who matter most. The tags? Olivia. Mom. Dad. Even Olivia's boyfriend, Brian. Not me. Not even a mention. I commented, Merry Christmas. It got deleted. 2 weeks later, I got a text from Olivia. Hey, can you help me with a deposit for my condo? I'll pay you back next tax season. Love you. That was before the theft. Before I flew back. Before I opened the attic and found the box. But let me back up. Because before the attic came the chat. They added me to a new family group chat. I thought, maybe this is a peace offering. No. It was Olivia sending selfies from her new home, holding champagne with a caption that said, Manifestation works. Dad replied, well deserved, baby girl. Mom added, couldn't have happened to a better daughter. Then, Olivia dropped the real bomb. Got the condo thanks to our favorite silent investor. She attached a screenshot. It was my bank account. Not a fake. Not a mock-up. My actual bank account. Down to the cent $134,712 withdrawn. 3 separate transactions. Clean, surgical, stolen. And then the comment that made my skin go cold. All it took was a little password magic. Bless his tech skills. They knew. They knew my security questions. They knew the two-step backups. They used me like a pawn and laughed while doing it. I didn't even know how deep it went until I went to the attic. When I sold the house that night, I told the realtor to give me a week to grab my things. I wanted one final look. That's when I found the box. Labeled Tax Stuff 2021. Inside? Not taxes. Just files. Photos. Screenshots. Old printouts of my emails. Personal stuff. Messages with my ex. Even an old journal I'd scanned to Evernote, somehow printed. And a second folder, Plan B, in case he finds out. It was full of fake evidence. Photos of Olivia with bruises, Photoshop obvious if you looked close enough. Emails from me that I'd never written. A fake letter admitting guilt that had my signature scanned and pasted at the bottom. They were ready. They were going to frame me. If I had gone to the police, they had a backup story that I was mentally unstable, that I'd been violent, that I had a history of controlling behavior. Olivia had pre-written statements. Mom had notes. Dad had voice clips edited with AI. They didn't just take advantage. They knew exactly what they were doing. But I didn't panic. I scanned everything, backed it up, put it in the cloud, then emailed it to a lawyer friend in Boston with the subject line, "If anything happens to me, start here." The next morning, I made my real move. I called the realtor. "Tear up the sale," I said. "We're doing cash fast." Because now, it wasn't just about getting out. It was about accountability. And it was going to start with a dinner invitation they never saw coming. They thought I'd disappear. They thought I'd shut up, lick my wounds, and fly back across the ocean like a good little scapegoat. Instead, I sent a group text the next night. "Dinner. 7 p.m. Same place you scanned me from. Bring everyone." Olivia responded with a laughing emoji. Mom replied, "Let's not do drama, honey." Dad just wrote, "If you're coming to apologize, come early." Perfect. I booked a private room in the back of a restaurant downtown, the same one they'd celebrated Olivia's fake condo purchase in last month. I made sure the staff knew to give us privacy. I made sure my lawyer friend sat at the bar nearby. I made sure the envelope on my table had everything. At 6:56, they walked in. Olivia first. Full face of makeup, tight white dress, designer purse I knew I paid for. Mom behind her, tense, scanning the room like she was walking into an intervention. Dad last, shoulders back, fake confidence thick in his stride. He was already scowling before he sat down. "You've got 5 minutes," he snapped. I smiled. "You might want to double that." No one ordered food. I didn't let them. I placed the envelope on the table and slid it forward. Olivia laughed. "What is this? Divorce papers?" "No," I said. "Truth." I pulled out my phone and hit play. At first it was just audio, rough, grainy, but recognizable. My voice. "No, I'm not comfortable wiring that amount without paperwork." Then Olivia's. "Oh, come on. Don't be such a control freak. It's family." The clip ended. Olivia's smile started to twitch. Then the next file. A screen recording of her Facebook Messenger. Her typing. He won't even notice. He never checks his backups. I zoomed in on the timestamp. Dad's eyes narrowed. "I don't know what this is supposed to prove," he muttered. I leaned forward. "Okay, let's skip ahead." I pulled out the printed screenshots from the folder in the attic. Emails. Photos. The forged messages. Then I slid out one more thing. The USB drive. Olivia's face drained of color. "You went through my things?" "No," I said. "You left them in my attic. In my house. On the hard drive labeled, 'Do not delete private dot.'" Dad looked confused. "What hard drive?" I plugged it into the small laptop I'd brought. A folder popped up. Plan B 2024. Fake _ emails. Bruises _ set 1. Audio _ mash _ ready. Mom whispered, "What is this?" I opened the audio folder. Played the file titled threat _ romix _ 2. My voice came through, choppy and fake. "You're nothing. I always hated, get lost." It was laughably bad if you listened for more than 5 seconds. The tone changed mid-sentence. The noise floor was completely different, but they had saved it. Who made this? Dad barked. Olivia stayed silent. I turned the screen toward them and played the screen capture, Olivia editing the waveform on her laptop. You could see her username in the corner. "You tried to make me look guilty," I said calmly. "With fake audio, fake emails, forged screenshots, and you planned to use it if I ever pushed back. You broke into my files," she screamed suddenly. "You left them on my property. In a box I paid for?" In a house you robbed me of. Then I did the last thing. I opened the voice memo app on my phone. I didn't come here just to show you what you did. I came to show you what happens now. I clicked record and set the phone on the table. Dad growled. Turn that off. Say hi. I smiled. We're on record. They shifted. Olivia tried to knock the phone away, but I caught her wrist mid-swing. If you touch that again, I'll have to escalate this legally. That's when it all began to crack. Mom whispered, we didn't mean for it to go this far. I looked straight at her. How far did you mean? When you emptied my account. When you built a case against me. When you signed my name on the condo transfer without even asking. Dad stood up suddenly, the chair shrieking. You never appreciated anything. After everything we've done. You did nothing. I barked, standing too. You took. You lied. You watched while everything I built was being torn apart. Olivia grabbed her purse, like she was going to bolt. I'd sit down if I were you, I said. We're not done. That's when the door opened again, and my +1 walked in. Her name was Kelly, Olivia's ex-roommate, the one she tried to frame last year for the missing laptop. Kelly had the real story. I invited her to dinner. Hi, Olivia, she said sweetly. Miss me? Olivia froze. I turned back to the table. Kelly gave me the original audio files you chopped up, the emails you spoofed, even the texts where you bragged about how easy it was to play dumb. Dad looked at Olivia like she'd just exploded in front of him. She's lying, Olivia whispered. Kelly pulled out her phone. Then why's your face in this video, saying I know how to fake bruises? Timestamped. Unedited. I sat down. Slowly. Folded my hands. You don't have to admit anything tonight. But here's what's going to happen. I tapped the envelope. This packet is going to the police. This thumb drive goes to my lawyer. And every file, every lie, has been backed up 10 times. You wouldn't dare, Dad hissed. I leaned in. I already did. Mom began to cry. Olivia was shaking. Dad just stood there, fists clenched, defeated. You used my money to buy her a condo, I said quietly. You tried to cut me out. I'm stepping away for good. I grabbed my coat, pocketed the USB, looked them all in the eye. I'm not your son anymore. You're not my family. You're no longer part of my life. And I walked out. Kelly followed. We left them there, in their silence, in their fake stories, in their collapse. Outside, the air was cold, clear, and for the first time in 7 years, I breathed like a free man. I didn't just walk out of that restaurant. I walked into a strategy room. By the next morning, the envelope, the drive, and a 10-page summary were on the desk of Detective Alvarez, White-Collar Crimes Division. At first, he gave me the usual smirk, the kind they give when they hear family money dispute. Then he clicked play on the first audio file. He didn't smile again after that. He asked if I had more. I handed him a printed breakdown of the wire transfers, all tied to my stolen credentials, my hacked accounts, and the condo's mortgage documents, signed with my full legal name. Forged. Stamped. Used. You realize this could carry serious legal consequences, right? He said, eyebrows raised. I know exactly what it is, I replied. And I'm pressing charges. He nodded slowly. This might get ugly. I smiled. I'm counting on it. Within 48 hours, I got the first confirmation. The condo Olivia bought with my money was under immediate financial investigation. Title flag. Pending fraud complaint. Temporary freeze on ownership transfers. The condo she bragged about on Instagram? Legally untouchable now. Then came the second wave. I filed a civil suit. Personal identity theft. Financial damages. Malicious intent. My lawyer attached all the evidence from the attic hard drive, including the audio forgeries, the email spoofs, and the planning folder titled, quite literally, in case he finds out. We served the papers to Olivia at 8:02 a.m. on a Monday. She was in her bathrobe. The process server said she screamed. Dad was next. He didn't know I'd found the forged tax filings. See, when they took my money, they also moved it through 3 accounts, and one of them was his business account, which meant he declared the stolen funds as revenue. That little oversight turned my case into a federal matter. IRS fraud, wire fraud, tax evasion. He got his letter by courier. Certified. Signature required. He refused to sign. Didn't matter. The next day, my lawyer got a voicemail from Dad's attorney. Can we talk about a settlement? I told them they could talk to the court. Mom was the last one to react. I thought she'd stay quiet, hide behind the usual, I didn't know routine. But 2 days later, she posted a 3-paragraph Facebook status. White background. Black text. Sometimes your children turn on you, no matter how much you love them. I raised mine alone when no one else would. I stood by them during every struggle. And this is how they repay me. He's suing his own family. Over money. If you know me, you know the truth. It got 63 likes. All relatives. All enablers. What they didn't know was that I'd already sent a separate package to CPS. Because remember that condo? Olivia had custody of her 2 kids. The same kids she left alone during her girl trips while I footed the bill. Screenshots. Dates. Photos. CPS opened a case within 72 hours. I didn't even have to speak. The screenshots did the talking. And still, none of them called me. Not to apologize. Not to deny. Only silence. Until the news broke. Local paper. Small column in the Metro section. Family legal dispute over condo sparks fraud investigation. Identity theft at center of civil suit. No names. But the photo was unmistakable. Olivia on the steps of the courthouse. Sunglasses. Hoodie. Head down. That same night, I got a voicemail from her. Not a call. Just a recording. You ruined everything. Are you happy now? You were always jealous. I saved it. Added it to the folder. Titled it Final Words. But the real satisfaction didn't come from the cases. Or the condo freeze. Or the court dates. It came from watching them scramble. Dad tried to sell one of his trucks, only to find his accounts frozen. Olivia tried to list her condo for rent. Denied. Flagged for financial dispute. Mom? She started a GoFundMe. Titled, Single Mother Targeted by Estranged Son. It raised $47. $47. I didn't respond. I didn't comment. I just kept building. Because while they were playing victims, I was moving forward. I launched my project, the thing I'd put off for years because they always needed something. My own firm. Small, agile, digital-first consulting. Fully remote. I called it Recovery Group. A name I chose for 2 reasons. First, because that's what I was doing. Recovering. Second, because I knew one day Olivia would Google it and see that she wasn't invited. I didn't tell anyone. But my first client? A cybercrime nonprofit. They asked if I could speak at an event next spring. Title of the panel? What happens when the call is coming from inside the house? I accepted. And when I signed the speaker agreement, I used a new signature. One I'd never used before. One they couldn't forge. Because they didn't own me anymore. 1 week after I walked out of the restaurant, an envelope arrived. Legal-sized. Handwritten label. No return address. Inside was a letter not from a court, but from my parents' attorney. Soft, pathetic, slippery. Given the emotional state of all parties involved, our clients believe it would be reasonable to explore a less adversarial resolution to the matter at hand. Translation: they wanted out. Without consequences. Without accountability. They thought maybe I'd cool off. Maybe I'd remember birthdays. Maybe I'd cave. They still didn't get it. I didn't respond. I went online instead. To a quiet, underfunded nonprofit I'd bookmarked months ago, the Restart Initiative, focused on helping adults recover from financial and emotional abuse by family. Their donation page had a single line of text. Give what they took, and reclaim what's yours. I entered the amount. $1,340. Deliberate. Symbolic. Every digit mattered. 134, the number of thousands they stole from me. 0, the number of second chances I had left to give. I clicked Donate. The confirmation popped up. Donation complete. Donor. Anonymous. I took a screenshot. Then I posted it on Instagram. No caption. Just the receipt. A gray background. The words. Amount. $1,340. Thank you for your support. 30 minutes later, my mother called. I didn't pick up. An hour after that, Olivia texted. What is that post? Is this another attack? I didn't even open the message. I blocked her instead. The next morning, I updated my company's website. Just a single sentence under the logo. Some families break you. Others teach you to rebuild. No names. No explanations. Just truth. That night, Jake, Olivia's ex, texted me for the first time in months. I saw what you posted. Dude, you actually ended it. I replied. I didn't end it. I outgrew it. And that was the difference. There was no explosion. No final showdown. No courtroom drama with screaming witnesses. Just silence. A beautiful, heavy, unbroken silence. They stopped calling. Stopped posting. Stopped pretending. I had moved out of their reach and into my own life. I changed my number. Moved into the apartment I'd been renovating quietly for months. Even the dog, the one I'd originally paid for as a gift to Olivia, lived with me now. His name was Chance. Because everyone deserves at least one. But not everyone gets two. This morning, I sat by the window with coffee and quiet. No fake group chats. No calls asking for help. No obligations disguised as love. Just peace. I opened the hard drive, the one from the attic, one last time. Went through every folder. Every lie. Every cut-up audio file, fake screenshot, digital betrayal. And deleted them all, one by one, until only a single file remained. It was named family.mp3. I right-clicked. Delete. Then emptied the trash. The screen asked me, "Are you sure you want to permanently delete family.mp3? I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was perfect. Yes, I'm sure. They took everything they could. So I turned it into something they never will. Peace. Not just the absence of noise. The absence of them. I'm not the backup plan anymore. Not the investor. Not the fixer. Not the son they can shame or summon. I'm just a man now. A man with silence. And a receipt.